Alright, so I'm a day late with this. It's been about a year since Daisy Berkowitz has passed away from Marilyn Manson. So I got a couple things here, a couple old things that I'm going to show. Um, it's old Manson stuff. It doesn't really revolve around Daisy so much, but it's the same era, mostly. So I'll start with this. This has nothing to do with Manson, but I know a lot of people that like the old Manson stuff and Spooky Kids really like the old Manson flyers. Now this is a flyer I kept since the 90s. Like I said, it has nothing to do with Manson, but it's just the Cleveland scene. These are some of the bands that were around when I was like 8. A lot of the local metal bands thought I was a really cool little kid because I always wore Metallica shirts and Megadeth and shit like that. So I don't even know if this place exists anymore. But this is just an example of what flyering used to look like. Most people didn't get to experience that, so I always thought this was really cool, and I kept this since I was a kid. So one of the bands kind of took me under their wing to kind of hang out with them when I was little, which was really fucking cool. They used to give me like their homemade jean jackets and shit like that they used to wear on stage. They liked me a lot because I used to cuss. They really liked a little 8-year-old cussing. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But this is a basic example of flyering and how I used to promote shows back in the day. As you see in a lot of the Spooky Kids ads, they do the same thing. They made their own flyers. So what you would basically do is you would sometimes tape like 2 sheets of paper together and do all this different stuff on it. Sometimes you would tape a bunch of different things on a piece of paper, and then you would find a copy machine wherever you could find it, the local like corner store or whatever. Sometimes you had to really travel to find a fucking copy machine, and then you had to get money to make copies. So you would be sitting there throwing change in a fucking copy machine, because this was like, I think even before Kinko's, so like, you know, people would have to print a bunch of these off of a copy machine, and then you would hope that the copy machine worked, that they were always broke, they didn't have paper, the prints didn't come out right. You know, it was a pretty hard grind. So I found this flyer interesting to kind of match the time, the early 90s period. So like I said, I was about 8, so this was like 30 years ago this came out. This is probably like, flyer is either from the late 80s or early 90s, I can't really remember. But yeah, I always thought that was cool, so I always kept onto it. And that's the original flyer. Not the original, but it's the original reprint of the original flyer. So like the actual band gave me this. So let's get into the Manson stuff. And these are basically news articles that I kept. My dad or mom knew that I liked Manson a lot when I was younger, and if they seen something, they would give it to me and I would keep it. So what I'm gonna do with this, I don't remember what this article was. I think this might have been after Daisy left already. Yeah, because they're already talking about Antichrist Superstar. So I'll just kind of scan through this, and you could kind of pause the video to read what you want. Forget the music to push buttons. Alright, so I hope that that worked out. I try not to make these videos not too long, but they always turn out long. I'll save this one for last. So here we got, I've been trying to take better care of these things, so I've been trying to buy frames now for a lot of this stuff. So this one's obviously a little bit later. November 98. That was about 2 or 3 years after Daisy had already left. Because you can tell this is the weird space mechanical animals thing. But I'm a fan of Zim Zum too, so I don't really mind this era too much. But it was a pretty big change. Sorry, there's a lot of glare in this room. So yeah, this is the Cleveland Free Times magazine, issue 7, November 4th through 10th, 1998. And I don't think this is the whole paper. I think it's just this page that I kept, the cover of it. But I put it in a frame a few months ago to try to get this crease out the middle. Paper is really bad over time. It's very hard to collect paper. You have to keep it out of the light. If anybody has old news articles, keep it out of the light. So even though these are in a frame, I'm not going to hang them up because the light will just destroy them. So this one's kind of cool. This one's pretty old. Let's see if I can find a date on here. This one's 1997. So still, this is kind of after, a little bit after Daisy left. But this was Choices. I think this was just in the Plain Dealer. The regular, yeah. Because I'm looking down here. The Plain Dealer, Cleveland Plain Dealer. It says down here, sweet dreams are made of this. Marilyn Manson is proof. There are faces not even a mother could love. The singer and the band headline at the Cleveland State University Center tomorrow night. I actually went to that show. I actually went to this concert there, which is the ticket I have right there. I think that's the same date. 2697. Yeah, and this is April 25th. So I didn't even know that I actually have the ticket for the concert of that. My friend actually gave me this ticket the other day. Rob Zombie and Manson. He had an extra one and gave it to me. I didn't go to it just because I don't like the new stuff, and I don't like Manson per se. The new Manson. I like the old Manson, not the new one too much. But this, I don't know if I could really get this on there. It's too much glare. I don't even think a lot of this is talking about Manson. I don't know. I think that it gets continued on another page. But it's like 6 a.m. and I just woke up, so this video is really shitty probably. So here's the last one. I really like this one a lot. Which is kind of funny. So this is 1998. This is in the Plain Dealer, the Arts and Living section. And they did use an old photo with Daisy in it, but by 98, Zim Zum was already the guitarist. This one I want to frame too, but I gotta buy a bigger frame for it. This talks about the long hard road out of hell book. God, this is a lot to scan over too. It's talking about when his book came out, kind of. Marilyn Manson writes. That's funny, Tom Selleck. Yeah, I don't want to go over this whole thing. That'll take way too long. And the glare in here is ridiculous. I'm going to see if there's more on another page. Yeah, there's more if you flip in the page. So that is that, and that's all I have for today of my archive of old Manson stuff here. So we got this one. Everybody kind of knows this picture. That was a pretty cool one. That's during the Smells Like Children era. But the article's from '98. And then this small one here. And then down here. And then the Mechanical Animals one. So that's all I have for today. Hope you enjoyed it. Peace.